Is Sundial Growers stock a good Canadian cannabis choice? Stick with us until the end of the video to find out. Hello, future billionaires! Welcome to Penny Stock Lifestyle, the channel where you get stock inspiration, motivation, and knowledge to become the next future billionaire. Without any further ado, let's dive in. Sundial also filed a prospectus that allowed it to sell up to $800 million in new stock, which angered investors. Sundial stock has risen dramatically in recent months amid no recent improvement in our financial position or results of operations, which may have caused some shareholders to question whether the move was justified. Investors were probably also concerned about the possibility of their ownership stakes being substantially reduced as a result of new share offerings. Sundial Growers, a Canadian cannabis business, has been squeezed by Reddit traders. SNDL stock rose 427% from 56 cents to $2.95 between January 26th and February 10th. Since then, the stock has lost 60% of its value and is now trading at $1.17. When the r/Wall Street's Bets mob decided to threaten the entire cannabis market, shares of various marijuana stocks and exchange-traded funds, ETFs, hit new highs, and Sundial Growers got a huge boost. Sundial Growers' February price increase was welcome, but bittersweet for long-term investors who recall the company's share price peaking at $11.50 in August of last year. Aside from the stock's recent increase in tandem with the wider cannabis market, there hasn't been anything to recommend SNDL stock recently. Sundial Growers is rumored to be a candidate for a takeover as the cannabis industry consolidates this year. As Sundial Growers has announced one disappointing financial result after another, these rumors have grown louder. Revenue for the last 3 months of 2020 was $13.9 million, up 8% from the previous quarter, but down 6% from the same time the previous year. Last year, the firm had a net loss of $64.1 million. This isn't ideal. Cannabis, on the other hand, remains on the minds of investors as more states in the United States legalize the recreational drug, the most recent being New York. Sundial's stock price is still up more than 130% in 2021, despite its recent downturn. Sundial's sizable cash reserves tend to be locked in a smooth shift from predominantly wholesale cannabis sales to higher margin branded retail goods, as well as management's willingness to make value-creating investments. Sundial has made considerable strides in its market transition. Last year, branded net cannabis sales increased to 75% of overall cannabis sales, up from 20% in 2019. However, it remains to be seen if management will invest shareholder capital in a way that more than compensates for the dilution caused by Sundial's high stock sales. Sundial fell 0.9% to $1.01 on Wednesday, continuing its downward trend. For the time being, retail traders seem to have moved on, and recent share dilutions may have also acted as a drag. The stock was a retail favorite in the hopes of increasing cannabis market opening in the United States. This is attributable to a combination of news stories. Bearish articles abound, and there's also the question of whether SNDL will or can file for an $800 million at-the-market offering. As a result, this is big news. This indicates that SNDL intends to collect funds through the direct offering. They're selling it directly to institutions, whether you meet other individuals or institutions. That's big news, and it's what's causing the stock to plummet. For those unfamiliar with offers, when a buy stock offering is made, it is typically to raise cash. As a result, other institutions that buy store stock are compensated. Now, we'll look at the month table, and you can see that SNDL has dropped. And you know how the whole cannabis cycle is right now. The whole cannabis industry is down. As you can see, SNDL popped on February 10, 2021, and we're currently waiting for another pass. So, with that in mind, we're gonna look into the short interest on SNDL to see if anything has been done about it, because we assume the short interest on SNDL was about 10 million the last time we looked. As you can see, we're in the SNDL short interest, and the short amount is 83 million. But it appears that SNDL is still a highly shorted stock. The market volume is 265 million shares, and it appears that people are shorting it. The number of shorter shares available is estimated to be about 10 million. So that tells us a lot. It's all the same, but people seem to be shorting it, and you know how SNDL and other cannabis stocks have been selling off due to a scarcity of news right now. You've seen articles claiming that SNDL might be headed for legalization, and others claiming that it'll drop after earnings. And obviously earnings were a big trigger, and they did change the tides quite a bit after earnings when they dropped a bit, which was somewhat surprising. Second, let's take a look at the technical analysis. So far, it looks fantastic on the buying side, particularly if you're trying to buy a dip in the stock market, as many people recommend. When you buy a dip, you lower the average price and potentially get in on a lower cost average than most people. When SNDL was about $3, it crashed because the RSI was massively overbought at 90 levels, and when the RSI drops to 30 levels, it normally bounces back up. So, with SNDL, we could see the same thing. As you can see, SNDL was oversold at 21 and then bounced all the way to 31. So, an 8-cent difference will make a big difference. And you can see that the last time SNDL was in this range with the RSI at 20, it bounced all the way up to about 149. So that's a 30% improvement over the previous price. So what we're seeing is that there are two scenarios. Either an SNDL breaks its help, which will draw right here, or it doesn't. The existing support level for SNDL deals is 120, and if that level is broken, it will theoretically reach another support level of 112. As a result, we must bear in mind that investing in penny stocks is always risky, and please be aware that this video is not financial advice. So, what we're seeing here is a dropping wedge, which could break out tomorrow and soar all the way to 150, reflecting a 20% raise, or it could break through the support and fall to 110. So the most likely movement in situation A, and SNDL simply breaks this wedge. But we do have to remember that the market was down today, and that was also a factor that caused many stocks to fall, as you can see right here, as well as some media, which will be listed shortly. So we can see that SNDL is currently down, and the reason we believe it can uptrend is that using the RSI indicator, we can see that there are some popular bounces, and if it doesn't bounce correctly, it'll stay flat. And with SNDL on Google Chat, you can see mostly barcoding if you haven't already. There are a lot of SNDL barcodes, and they show up a lot in the 5-minute charts. If it pushes all the way to 130 SNDL, you'll most likely break 121. Sundial stock price is still up more than 130% in 2021, despite its recent downturn. Sundial's sizable cash reserves tend to be locking in a smooth shift from predominantly wholesale cannabis sales to higher margin branded retail goods, as well as management's willingness to make value-creating investments. And it has made considerable strides in its market transition. Last year, branded net cannabis sales increased to 75% of overall cannabis sales, up from 20% in 2019. However, it remains to be seen if management will invest shareholder capital in a way that more than compensates for the dilution caused by Sundial's high stock sales. Chief Executive Officer Zach George did not go into detail about the company's strong backlog and plans for future strategic acquisitions. This means that a settlement will be reached in 2021. Management has the opportunity to put its cash on the line to carve out a strong niche in the cannabis industry. It paid off $227 million in debt last year by selling assets and refinancing debt with equity swaps. Grasslands, Palmetto, Sundial, and BC Weed Co. are Sundial's main brands. The company's broad variety of per-gram rates allows it to reach both the conventional and luxury markets. They might be able to outsmart their rivals. In addition to focusing on quality inhalable goods, the organization can maintain its cost-cutting strategy without compromising business investments. It, for example, has a 448,000 square foot indoor facility that is state-of-the-art. Sundial will be able to deliver a superior product thanks to its modular growing approach known as small batch at scale. If you'd like to stay up to date with the best and latest content about stocks and entrepreneurship, then make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a like on this video. Did you find this video valuable, or do you want to add anything? Make sure to let us know in the comment section down below. We are posting a new video every day with the most undervalued stocks in the market right now.